Get ready for another captivating episode of the In Focus podcast. I'm your host, Ken Ray. In this edition, I'll be joined by the incredibly talented Jordan Ledet, a skilled photographer specializing in weddings, seniors, couples, and lifestyle photography. Join us as we explore Jordan's unique approach to captivating life's most precious moments through the lens, delving into the artistry behind wedding tales, senior portraits, and the essence of lifestyle photography. Don't miss this insightful conversation on the beauty of visual storytelling. Well, Jordan, thank you so much for coming on the In Focus podcast today. I'm super glad you're here.
Yes, me too. Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you for being here. So how you doing today?
I'm doing good. I've had my drink. I'm ready to go.
What did you say minutes ago before we started?
I am highly caffeinated and unmedicated. That's kind of my my philosophy and life motto right now.
Love it. I love it. And on this filming, this, of course, like we said, this will be aired later, but we're in the midst of wedding season. I'm sure. Do you have any other projects going on other than, are you just deep in the weddings right now?
I'm just deep in the wedding right now.
Yeah, 'tis the season.
Just really deep into editing.
Sure.
I feel like I've been.
What's your backlog look like right now?
Right now, actually, I have only one. I just finished my a wedding. I just sent that off. I'm working on another wedding.
Is that the one we worked together?
Yes, yeah. The Johnson
Looked
wedding.
Great. It's
I
beautiful.
just sent it off to her. I think on her anniversary, their 1 month anniversary. I was able to get it out.
That's
to her.
awesome.
I'm working on one more wedding, and then I just have tons of sessions.
Yeah.
I have many sessions again this weekend. So
Do you have your own studio or?
I don't. Nope. I rent from other photographers locally.
Okay.
So
Well, we might have to get our little
Link
thing.
up.
Yeah, I think we might have to do
I'm
that.
always looking for a new studio to shoot at.
Totally.
I love the plain backdrops. Just
Well, and I'd love to, and for those who don't know, we were talking about turning this space into like I know nothing about photography and I won't pretend I do, but turning it into a seamless backdrop and photographers could come in. And I've had many requests for that.
Yes.
So like, I wish I knew exactly what I needed to buy and then I could just buy it.
yeah. Well,
right?
Yep. I use I have a kitchen with a lot of open
Sure.
lighting, and I have a backdrop.
Yep.
I use Seamless Savage or Seamless Savage, one of the two. I don't
Double
know.
S's somewhere in there.
Something like that. And I love it. So I
Yeah.
would recommend getting like that backdrop.
Does it get dirty?
It does, but it's you can reuse it several times before it gets too dirty, and you just cut it off and then throw it away. So
Got
it's a
it.
huge roll of paper. And
Is it kind of like in the doctor's office where they have the roll that they use?
Basically,
So bad, but
yeah.
it's a better material.
Yes, and
Is that how I need
it's
it?
big and long, and yep. So
I saw one where I could put hooks and I could put 3 different colors and then they pull
it
down,
down.
kind of like little,
Yes.
not Venetian blinds, but
that
like just
is definitely the one that you should get, so you can have a variety of different.
yeah. And I think, of course, the lights in here would probably work and maybe get like something that's, I mean, they're Gothics. I don't know if they
Yeah.
work with flashes or not. I'm sure they might.
so.
I don't know. But then have like the little stand where they can put their computer, because I know that some photographers will
Some do
show it
that.
in real time or
Yeah.
whatever. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm not that fancy yet. I just like show on the back of my camera. I'm like, look how good you look, girl.
Yeah, and I'm sure. What do you shoot on?
A Nikon.
So I'm sure on a Nikon you can connect it to a computer.
Yeah.
Like I could put my computer there. You could just hook into it, and then you could
Show
show
it
them a
right there.
real time photo
Yeah, that
of.
would be awesome.
That would be cool, and it would be bougie looking. And
yeah.
the more. Fun fact: the more bougie it looks, the more you charge. Because this stuff does not like
Technology.
just. Yeah, it doesn't just materialize like
Exactly. Stuff
I bought so
talks.
much of this stuff like. And when I get angry, I come in here and just throw myself up against
Nice.
it sometimes, like it's a padded room. It works.
That's hilarious.
But
I
it's
love
great
it.
because it gets rid of the echo. So there's
Oh.
no echo when we're talking. Yeah, so it's like a sound dampening material. Yeah.
It's pretty too. Like
It is. I like it. And then, my wife, when we first got the studio, she was like, it's kind of like a man cave looking thing, but once you see it on camera, it with that little just, backlight to give some separation, and it's got like different colors I'll do, so whoever's podcast I'm doing, I'll give their colors of their logo and stuff and put it on the,
Yeah.
so it's been fun. It's been a cool little venture, and the idea, of course, getting us back on topic, the idea here is that I want to bring photographers and videographers together.
Yes.
And I want them to be able to share their experiences. I want it to be a platform for them to be able to like reach a bigger audience, for them to, because I think we're kind of like unsung heroes. Like we're almost an afterthought after the venue, after the catering, after when it
Yeah.
comes to weddings. And
Oh,
it's like
yeah.
we're one of the most important
For
things
sure.
for that because we're the memories of
Exactly.
things. Like, people. I did cooking for the large majority of my life, and no one remembers. There was a saying that no one remembers all the people who did eat. They remember the one person who did not eat. So no one remembers, oh, they had a good shrimp cocktail 20 years ago.
Yeah.
They'll be like, oh, no, but they can look at those photos.
Yep.
So what kind of got you into doing photography in general? How did you?
In general.
Mhm.
So, I'd say back in high school, I was in yearbook, and I was always the friend who always had the little point and shoot camera
Yeah.
to update
Cool
our
pics?
yeah
Yeah.
to update our MySpace
Yeah.
profiles
Yeah.
back in the day.
Nice.
So then
Our age is showing.
I know, right? Like people might listen and be like, "What's a MySpace?"
What's MySpace?
Yeah, back in the day.
I'll tell you the tale of the landline, children.
So funny. So I kind of got out of that once I graduated and whatnot. And then in 2019, my husband was like, I want to get you a Christmas present. What do you want? I'm like, heck, I don't know. I have everything.
Mm-hmm.
And then our son had just been born. I was
Yeah.
like, you know what? I want a good camera. Give me a good camera.
Nice.
So he got me a camera, and then lockdown started. And, I was working at the time full time, and we got sent home
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
to work from home. And
Yeah.
I'm ADD, so
Sure.
I don't do well just like
Get it.
working from home in front of a computer. So I spent most of my time learning about my camera instead.
School of YouTube.
Yeah, School of YouTube, and I took some courses. And I just shot my kids a lot and my dog because my husband, he does not like being in front of the camera.
Sure.
So that's kind of what got me started was boredom of COVID 2020 lockdown.
Totally. Yeah. I mean, my story was 2019 also was doing some production stuff at my church. Had always kind of dabbled in like Photoshop, and I was a graphic designer, and so I'd always been in a tech field.
Mm-hmm.
And I was helping with the production stuff. COVID happened. I ended up going home with like one of their little Canon cameras or like camcorders, and just started like doing friends' weddings for free, just for fun, just to see what it was like. And when I got into it, I was like, I kind of like doing this.
Yeah.
And then the rest was history. And then it just kind of turned into like, I think I could make a full-time go with this.
Exactly.
So did you just start slowly building a client base?
Yeah,
Like you got
so-
1, then 2, then 3?
Mm-hmm. So what I would do, I was just start posting pictures of my kids, and people would be like, "Oh wow, those are really good. Can
Totally.
you take my kid's picture?" I'm like,
Sessions?
Yeah, I'll
Yeah.
take your kid's photo."
Absolutely.
So I just started like asking everyone around me, "Hey, can I take your photo? Can I take
Yeah.
your photo?" It was really hard to actually find people that wanted free photos. Honestly,
Totally.
like
Good friends.
I would
That's
have-
good friends.
I'd have to
Yeah.
like beg them, be like, "Hey,
Totally.
can I please take your photo?" Because I needed the practice.
Right.
But-
Now, did you feel like it was not worth money? Because and not that was what you thought, but like I've heard people say like, oh, it's not good enough to get paid for it. It's like,
Yeah.
but you're doing it. Like you
Yeah.
should be paid for
At
it. Like
first, I just thought like I wasn't good enough.
same.
I
Yeah.
just like
I did my weddings for
could
free.
not charge because what if you didn't like them?
Right.
Like, oh my gosh, my first session
Totally.
I hosted mini sessions, and I think I charged $65 or $75 and gave them probably like 50 photos.
Wow.
I had like 6 people book, and I was like on cloud 9.
Wow.
I was like so excited. I was like, wow.
Was that a moment where
making it.
yeah, was that the moment where you were like, I think I can make a go of this. Like I think
Yeah.
I could do this. That was like me. I got 1 client, 2 clients, 3 clients. And then eventually I was like, oh my gosh, I think I can like quit my job and do this full time.
Yes.
And I've been so thankful for the clients that I have and continue to have,
100%.
so
100%.
it's awesome. Yeah, and I don't want to talk about prices too much because of the airing of this, the prices will change.
Yes.
So, but would you say if you know how it's like on the knot they'll have like the dollar signs?
Mhm.
Are you 1, 2, 3, or 4 star?
I-
Dollar sign
And 3.
3. So you're not on the really high end, but you're still
Yes.
Yeah.
And I do that because I've only been full time for a year now
Mhm.
into wedding photography for a year now.
I'd say I'm in the same range though, and I
So-
think it's a good spot, especially
too.
based on our demographic here.
Exactly.
Now, if I was in like California or somewhere like that, might be different.
Right.
But Yeah.
Like, I don't consider myself a luxury photographer.
No,
Like,
same. Yeah.
maybe goals in the future one day,
Sure.
but right
Absolutely.
now, I
Absolutely.
like where I am. I like my
Yeah.
clientele.
Yeah. I think it's a good, wholesome kind of clientele.
Exactly.
You know, but then when you're on the really low end, it's actually much harder because
Absolutely.
I don't know
I
what,
feel like they expect more.
I don't know what it is. Like, I don't understand. I'm like,
Like, you only
like,
paid. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. And I always tell people, like, when they'll come to do stuff for me, I'm like, what is the minimum that you will take in order to not hate your life on that day?
Mm-hmm.
That's my day rate.
Exactly.
Like,
That's
to make it worth it. Like, otherwise, I'm going to be resentful the whole day. I'm going to be mad when I'm editing.
And I'm just not. I won't be my happy-go-lucky person. Like,
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
yes.
And I loved shooting Danielle's wedding. I thought that was a
Oh
lot
yes,
of fun. You
they
know?
were great. I loved them.
Yeah, and I love the collaboration between photographers and videographers
Yeah.
because sometimes that's not always the case.
Mm-hmm. I feel like we worked really well
We
together
did.
with communication. I feel
Yeah.
like that's what it's really based on, communication. Like, hey, if I'm in your way, please let me
Totally.
know. Vice
Totally.
versa. Like, we're both here for the job. We
Yeah.
got hired. We
Yeah.
both need to do our job. So
Absolutely.
let's work together.
Yeah, and at the end of the day, the client was. I thought she was very happy.
Oh, absolutely.
Did you have a bunch of corrections you had to make to anything? I didn't
no.
either. I had none. Like
No.
I didn't have anything. She loved
there
it.
was one thing that she wanted, and it was just like, can you please take this out of the background? And I'm like,
What
of
did she
course.
say for me? I missed someone in the processional.
Okay.
And she was like, "Can you add them to the video?" I said, "Sure."
Yeah.
It's like that's all you need. I just missed,
easy.
one of your sisters. I can totally add that in. That's
Yeah,
easy, no problem.
like,
So
not a problem.
yeah. And did you get to see their video?
Not yet.
You check it out. I'll tag you in it
Okay.
on Instagram.
Yes,
so
please do.
yeah.
I'd love to see
That
it.
reception went so hard.
Oh, I bet with the lighting and everything.
And then her son just getting trashed was fantastic.
I have some epic photos of him.
That's in the video of him laying in.
Laying in
Oh
the
yeah,
kitchen.
absolutely,
Look,
absolutely.
when I was editing those photos, I was just cracking up laughing the whole time. I'm sure videography. I'm sure you're laughing because you see
some
the
stuff.
real,
Yeah.
the real footage.
Yeah, and he's like, he made that video great. So now, what was the little thing that you did for her during that? Tell me about
Oh
that.
yes. So I have a Fujifilm instant printer. I believe that's what it's called, Instamax, whatever. And I synced the photos from my camera to my phone, and then I printed them immediately for her. I had a little album, and I surprised her with her gift of day of photos, just on little Polaroids.
It's awesome.
Yes, that was my first time doing it.
Yeah,
and
that's what I wanted to ask.
Love it.
Yeah, what a great idea. And I don't know how many would-be brides will watch this, but I know other videographers and photographers will. So I think that's such a cool thing that if you going above and beyond to meet your clients and exceed their expectations.
Yes.
Because that's how you stay here. I'm a believer
100%.
in that.
Like, I am all like, I want to make my brides happy. And
Totally.
if I was in a bride's shoes and a photographer did that for me, I would just be so happy.
Absolutely.
So glad.
Yeah, so they get to enjoy it right then and there.
Right then and there.
yeah.
Yep. Unedited and everything, but it's a Polaroid, so it's something that you can look back on forever.
Yeah, so what tips would you give to somebody who is just getting into this field? Like if they're just wanting to start out in photography, what would that look like for them?
I would say education. So like definitely find some courses. I recommend, I personally took Brittany Bruce's course and I learned tons of, everything about my camera, posing, just a whole bunch of things. If you don't have the means to do that, YouTube, just learn your camera in and out and practice. Just a photographer, a new up-and-coming photographer just messaged me the other day and she was like, how do I get where you are? I'm like, girl, just shoot anything and everything. That's what I did.
Yeah, I think I watched a ton of videos, and what it helped me with was it helped me develop how to use my camera effectively, but you can't. There's no amount of video you can watch to get real world experience
Exactly.
and
have to dive in.
You see a lot of the time photographers will come into the wedding world and they'll be like, yeah, I'll do it for $500. And I'm like, dude, you have no idea what you're doing. And not only that, one, you're undercutting the people who do it professionally.
Yes.
Two, you will not stay here. You're here for a season, if that.
Yep.
And then 3, you're not going to meet that client's expectations because you have no flash, you have no this, that, or the other, like, and you're just showing up here trying to do it. Like, be a second shooter for somebody.
Learn.
Like, go with somebody who's doing it professionally and shadow them, become cool with them. Like,
exactly.
Because you see this all the time. And I always tell brides, I'm like, you get what you pay for.
That's what I do too.
You get what you pay for.
You see in these groups where they're like, I'll shoot all day for $500. And I'm just like, okay.
We both know the group we're talking about. I'm not going to say it, but like just out of being respectful, but I never try and name drop on here like that,
right.
But like, yeah, like it's like
it's really frustrating.
I'm almost tired of even posting it because I'm just like,
I'm like, there too. I'm like, you know what? Word of mouth. If you want to find me, hopefully someone recommends
and
you.
I tell them, I'm like, look at their portfolio. And I guess it caught me on a bad day and I should not have done this, but someone posted something like that. And I was like, hey, can you post your portfolio on here?
Yeah.
Oh, well, I was like, no, just can you post some portfolio stuff on this comment you just put, like for $500 a day? Let us see your work real quick.
Right.
Oh, well, I'm trying to get, okay, miss me with that.
Because
like
$500 a day, are you?
Right. Oh, and you have a second shooter? Yeah, okay. Yeah, all right. Yeah. like this is not realistic.
Like, I just want to block you.
Yeah, and I'm not. And
You're
look,
making me angry.
I get it. We all start at but look, I did my friends' weddings for free.
Yep.
When they were out of town, they would give me a hotel room, and a lot of them. They would throw me a couple dollars to do it because they're my friends. But like there was no expectation. They were like, dude, I don't even care if I get a video.
Look, exactly.
One of them I forgot to hit record. Like, right? And he still gave him a video, but it was total trash. Yeah. Like, but he still loves it today. It was his anniversary. He was like, yeah, me and my wife cried when we watched it. And I was like, dude, that's awesome. I was like, it was such crap. Like, but to me, but to them, that meant something.
Exactly.
And I love that.
I know. The first one that I ever did was like a friend of mine's sister, and she was like, look, either you can do it. I was like, I can't do this because I am new, like freshly new.
I'm new. That new.
New.
And you were upfront about it.
Yes, upfront about it. And she was like, no, like, you don't understand. Like, if you don't take it, I'm just going to have people take it on their cell phone. So I'm sure you can do better than a cell phone. And I'm like, you know what?
I can actually. As a matter of fact.
I did. And they love it to this day still.
Love it.
Do I love them?
Yeah.
I love the growth.
I love that they love it.
I love that I can look back and see the growth from then to now.
Totally.
That's what I love.
Absolutely. So yeah. And we love that they love it. Like I'm like, 100%. Cool, man. And like to us, I think as quote unquote artists, like we look at it, and I use that term very loosely. But like we look at it and we go, but to I was telling a guy the other day who's just getting started in videography, and I was like, look, man, don't be married to your work. Like, it's so easy for a videographer to spend 60 hours editing something, and I'm sure photography is the same. Like, you get in that Photoshop, and it's just chaos, and you're like, oh, we're making it perfect.
Yes.
And it's like, does the client really care?
Right.
Like, no, they don't. They just want their photos, and like, when it gets to a certain point, let it go.
Yes.
Like, move on to the next project. They'll be okay. And for the majority, 1% maybe have not liked my work out of the other 99% who have. Like, because you can't make everyone happy,
Right.
But
there's always going to be that one.
Mm-hmm.
I have to tell me and my photography bestie, we always send pictures back and forth about our work, and we have to tell each other they don't have a trained eye like we do.
Yes.
So like we can't be pixel peeping, we can't be zooming.
I love that.
And looking at
It's definitely going to be a hashtag.
Stuff that they don't even know is there.
Now, are you like me where, and this could be our ADD, but if you can't tell the way we're handling this podcast right now, just all over the place. When I notice a flaw in something, it's all I can see. From then on, I can't unsee it. And it drives me crazy.
And I'm going to hyper focus and fix it.
Yes. I'm glad I'm not the only one.
It's the ADD in us. I'm telling you.
It's awful.
Like, either we won't see it at all or we're going to see it.
And then I fixate on it. Yeah. And then I can't let it go.
Exactly.
And the client will not even notice it until I point it out to him. And once I've done that, I've really made a mistake because now it's all they can see too. And I'm like, crap, I shouldn't have said anything.
Or it's like, you want to tell them that you did this because it's so amazing that you fixed it.
Yep.
Like, look what I did.
Look at this.
Look at my before and after.
Right. So again, without bashing anybody, do you have any like funny stories from like weddings or any nightmares that you want to share? We're like, hit me with one.
Okay.
I love these.
This is a horror story.
Okay. Horror story.
Let me go back.
Let me get comfy real quick.
Yeah, get comfy for this one because This is the one that almost made me say, I quit, I'm done.
Nice. It's the best.
So, a little backstory. I never wanted to do weddings. Like from the beginning, I had always told my husband, weddings not my cup of tea. Like that is too big of a day.
Sure.
And I do not want to be the one responsible for
Absolutely.
anything that happens. So, back when I was first starting out, I did like a model call for like a couple's engagement session. I found a really cute couple. They were awesome. We vibed like no one before. And they were like, please be our wedding photographer. I was like, you know what? I can't. This is too big of a day. Blah, blah, blah. Well, they talked me into it. So here comes wedding day, and I'm feeling super confident. I have all my cameras, dual slots. I have 2 cards in all of them. They asked me, they saw a little backstory, ADD, sorry.
It's okay.
I had been posting little video clips that I was making as well of like my son, a birthday party,
Sure.
blah, blah, blah.
Little reels type deal.
Yeah, well, on my camera. So
Okay.
I dabbled into that for
Yeah.
a very short period of time.
Sure.
They were like, hey, can you do maybe a highlight film too for our wedding? And I was like, yeah. They're like, we'll pay you. I'm like, no, you can't pay me because I don't feel comfortable doing that as well.
All right.
So, shot the wedding. At the same time, I was videoing. Everything was going great. I get home. I put my SD card into my SD card reader. And all of a sudden it says file corrupt. And I'm like, what? What is happening? I put it back in my camera. It says the same thing. It needs to be reformatted or something. And I'm like, this is strange, but good thing I have a second SD card. You know what? Always. So what do? I take it out and I put it in the SD card reader. It says the same thing.
Oh, no.
It says file corrupt or something.
Literally
like
the
that.
worst nightmare.
So literally my heart sunk to my feet. I wanted to vomit. It was horrible because I think I spoke it into existence. I told them previously, I don't want to do that because what if I lose your pictures, you know? So at this point I'm freaking out. I tell my second, like, what photos do you have? Blah, blah, blah. She was fantastic. She had tons of photos. But at the same time, I had majority of the photos because I was the main. So I ended up trying to do the recover, SanDisk recover. Couldn't get any of the photos. So I'm just like, I want to call it quits right then and there.
Sure.
And then I decided to bring it to Best Buy. I'm like, is there anything that y'all can do? I know this is a long stretch. Is there anything you can do? They were able to recover my images. All of them. They weren't able to recover the videos that I took, but at this point, I didn't care. Because they didn't pay for the
Did you tell the client this?
I did after the fact. Because I was late on delivery.
Yeah.
And because I didn't have any videos to give them.
Totally.
But yeah, after that, I just was like, I'm not doing weddings again. Like, this was an absolute nightmare. Thank God that I got the photos back, but there was a huge chance that
So did you ever figure out what caused the corruption?
Yeah, my SD.
They were old?
No.
Your reader?
My reader. My SD reader corrupted them. So from then I threw it out.
Totally.
And it was an off-brand one. It was not an Apple.
We were just talking about that beforehand about how, like, you know, I want to get this thing up here, but I need to spend a lot of money. Like, I'm not going to, in tech, you have being like, I'm going to get it for $100 when it's normally $500. Get the $500 because you're going to get the $100. It'll work twice and then it will break and then you're going to end up spending $5 anyway. Like, it's just a tale as old as time, you know?
I have used the Apple SD card reader ever since.
Yeah, I've got 3 of them over there.
Yeah.
They're great. They're fast, too.
They're so fast.
Great. Yeah.
I will never go for another brand because of that. Like,
Do you use the tough cards or the SD cards?
SD cards.
Yep.
For my new camera, I have like the other card, the CF card.
The CF Express, the big tough one.
Yes.
Yeah, they're bigger boys. Yeah.
But, can I tell you? It was like
Did you
the
cry?
worst. I cried for several days. Like until Best Buy got back with me. It took them several days to get back with me, letting me know that.
Shout
they were
out
able
Best
to
Buy.
recover it.
Come on.
Right?
All right.
I know them Geek Squad boys.
This is Baton Rouge?
Baton Rouge.
Really?
Baton Rouge.
Come on. All
I
right.
had no idea they even did it.
I didn't either.
It was like literally, I'm panicking. I think I was crying at the store. Like, please, you guys.
Pay
you
a
don't
pretty
understand.
penny for it?
Honestly, no,
Really?
because they didn't have to send it off.
Yeah, they did it in-house.
They said, well, we can try it in house, but if we send it off, it's going to be like $500.
Yeah, I was
And
gonna
I'm
say,
like,
I
you
was
know
gonna
what?
say
I'll
six.
pay it.
Yeah. Because at
I'll
that
pay
point,
it. At this
I
point,
just had a situation with a client where it was we were filming, and I gotta be real careful about my details because it's only the one client, so like they'll know who I'm talking about.
yeah,
Anyway, we're filming it. They were like, "Hey, we want it to be like a podcast setup," and this is at 8:40 at night when the next day we're filming. I'm like, okay. So we're like setting this is a conference now. So like it's not a controlled environment like this. We end up doing it. I don't think it's going to meet his expectations. This is something that's currently going on. I don't think it's going to meet his expectations. And I was telling someone today, I was like, I'm probably going to have to fly his guest from Michigan to my studio, have him come in here, pay for his hotel, refilm it, and then send him off.
yeah.
That's because I've already started to damage control. Okay, how do I fix this? Because that client is expecting a good product, whether it was last minute or not. He still has
Still
an
wants it.
expectation, and I still have a job as a business owner to take care of that. Right. So like it's the same
Your
thing.
reputation
It's
and-
everything. Yeah, it's everything. And it's like my wife's like, I don't want to talk, and I'm like, look, I'll pay as much as I have to pay to make it to
Right,
fix
to
it
make it
because
right.
like that is my reputation.
It's your brand. It's everything.
It's everything. Like
You know, it's a shame, but one bad review can just
totally destroy you.
even if you have 100, like.
Yeah, and we live in a world where people are very quick to like bash people on social media, and I'm like, yeah, it's tough.
I've seen it happen. I mean, even recently, I've seen it happen a lot, and it's just like, wow.
Yeah.
Let's bring the goods out, the good with the bad, you know.
Yeah, and that's why I'm such. I think this. And it doesn't matter to me either way because again, this is just a passion project I'm doing. But I hope this reaches other photographers and like they know that like we're not like in competition together. If anything, we
No.
need to be closer together because there's plenty of people out there who do not want us to succeed.
Yes.
And like we're in this together.
For sure. I'm all about community over competition. Like that's what I like live for.
And this is cheesy, but I said this the other day, and this is just how full of BS I am. But like, competition happens at the bottom, and collaboration happens at the top.
Oh yeah.
And it's such like it's so BSy, but like it's
But it's
true.
true.
It is true. Like
yeah.
it is true on a certain level.
I
Like
feel like we can all learn from each other. Why do
Totally.
we have to be in competition? There's enough people.
everyone's
for
getting
everyone.
married, everyone's doing senior portraits,
Yeah.
everyone
There's way more people than there
Yeah.
are photographers and videographers.
And the longer you stick around here, the longer you start to see like who's really doing it and who's not. Because some people are just here for a season.
oh yeah.
You know, so that's been great. So, what does your creative process look like?
Creative process.
Is there a certain way you like to do stuff? Would you say that you work better like in the morning? Like, what does it look like when you're going to sit down and edit? Do you have a routine that you get into before you sit down and start calling everything? What does that look like?
My editing routine is just all over. I have a baby at home and I work when I can. Typically lately during this season, I work when my husband gets home so he can tend to with the baby.
Sure.
And then
How many kids do you have?
we have 3. So I have a 14-year-old who's self-sufficient, but however, she's very, her social life is very
It's a 14-year-old.
active.
Yeah.
I have a 4-year-old and then a 15-month-old.
Boy,
So
that's the whole gambit right there.
I mean, I started over completely. It's fine. It's fun. But editing with a baby at home,
Tough.
10 out of 10 do not recommend. It's hard.
Yeah, and you met you met Ezra before, so that's been a challenge.
Yes. I say supportive spouses are a must in this industry. Like
Totally.
if you have children, like I can't do it without
'Cause
them.
we're weekend warriors for sure. Like we
For
work
sure.
weekends. Like that's
Absolutely.
just like what we do.
It's
you
just
know?
part of the game.
Yep. Now you do other stuff other than weddings. You do like scene. You said outdoor stuff. Like what?
Yes.
What is your gambit of stuff? Like
So
you like to do?
I like to do. I categorize myself as a natural light photographer. I love the outdoor sessions, of course, and lifestyle sessions in home, just like around the house, newborns. I do not like. I don't do newborns unless it's a lifestyle photo.
Sure.
because with all the posing and the wrapping and
What
all
does that look like? Like what? Because like my wife was like, "Hey, can you do some of it?" I was like, "No, I have no idea how to even
Yeah.
go about doing that." Where he's got like the little
Yep.
hands and he's in the pumpkin
I
and
can't do it. There's a special art to it and a special amount of
Something.
patience that this girl does not have.
you just so you capture it naturally.
Naturally.
I love that.
Parents
That's
holding the baby in the
Yeah.
nursery,
Yeah.
rocking it.
That makes sense to me.
Like
Yeah.
laying in bed, just like the natural, unposed moments.
So we're not putting him in a pumpkin or anything like that.
Correct.
Got it.
Yep.
Yeah, and that makes much
The
more
most
sense.
I'll do is I'll have the parents wrap the baby up and put it in its crib,
Sure.
and
Yeah.
there we go.
And
That's
a good
the posed
swaddle.
one.
Yeah.
Other than that, it's just candid in the moment.
Yeah, and I brought my camera to the hospital and did some very natural stuff, and they love it. I'm like,
Yeah.
typical stuff, because I don't consider myself a photographer on any level. So I mean, does that with natural light? Does that mean you don't like flash or
Yeah, I prefer not flash, but obviously I use flash.
like receptions and stuff? Sure.
receptions,
Yeah, you almost
weddings.
have to.
Yeah, I mean, there's no way around it.
Yeah.
Once that sun starts setting, or if the lighting inside is not good, you got to pop that.
Well, you
flash
did
on.
natural light for that wedding we worked. We were out. They had the oak tree and they had the sun flare coming in behind it and the
Yes.
light, and it looked beautiful.
It
And that
was
was all
beautiful.
natural light.
Mhm.
Now, in your process of editing, are you just adding some like exposure into that little
Yes.
contrast? Like,
Yep.
are you any?
Typically, sometimes a little bit of dehaze, just depending if the sun was shining through
Sure.
or whatnot. Exposure, I bump it up a little bit, contrast, and then like the warmth, I'll bring that up or down.
You batch edit?
Yes, I do.
Yeah. I think
Yep,
it's
I
great.
just started trying out that new AI
Uh-huh.
editing.
Yeah, it's great.
And I really
You like
like
it?
it.
Yeah, it's great.
Yeah, so far it's like,
AI cuts this podcast.
oh really?
Cuts
Awesome.
the whole thing for me. Yeah, you just tell it like, hey, this is their audio channel, this is their video channel, and then we have a wide shot, and then it goes through everything, and then cuts it based on your voice.
Nice.
So
I mean, I feel
it's
like
great. Yeah.
it speeds up the process.
Totally. Yeah,
Like,
it's-
I'll take it.
we're
Whatever.
gonna be out of jobs. I'm like,
No.
no, I'm good. Like it's helping me out. You know.
I can't take the photos if they want to edit it my way.
Right.
And like it's my preset. The
Right.
ones that I typically, it's how I edit. They just learned how to do it.
Yeah, and I think people who aren't in this industry might be like, "Oh, well, that sounds lazy," and I'm like, "Well, you sit through 1,200 photos hand by hand, and you tell me how lazy I am." So,
Exactly.
just saying, like, we'll take the help. Like,
Yeah.
it's fine because we're telling it, "Hey, this is my style. This is how I want it to look," and
Mm-hmm.
it's serving me, not the other way around. So, like, I think that AI needs regulations, but on the whole end, I think it's great. Like,
Yeah.
it's been great for me.
Me too.
you
At
know.
first, I was just kind of like, no, I'm OCD when it comes to my photos. I want to do it my way.
Yeah.
But then it's not like I don't go through them,
Sure,
and I
absolutely.
can still
Tweak
correct.
it. Yep, absolutely.
So I think I'm gonna move forward with
Good.
it.
Yeah,
I like
think
it.
it's great. Yeah, that's the new calculator. If that makes sense.
Oh,
Because
yeah.
back in the day, people were like, "Oh, that's the devil. It's gonna
It's
gonna
take-
ruin us." And da da
I'm
da.
not
Now
gonna
it's
know how
on.
to do anything.
Yeah, now it's on our phones, and I still don't know how to do mathematics, but like
Exactly,
my
but my
calculator
calculator does,
which is
so-
great because I don't know how to write scripts either. But you know what? AI does.
Mm-hmm.
So like, it helped me write your intro, and now everyone's gonna listen to it and be like, "Oh, that's
Oh, it's
definitely AI," because I don't speak like that. It helps me articulate what I'm trying to say, which is fantastic. So
Look, I just started using it in emails,
oh man, it's
like
great.
responses.
Yeah.
I'm just like,
Write me a professional response to this client.
because I am far from
Yeah.
like I need the help.
Yeah,
As we
absolutely.
all do. I'll
I love
take
it.
it.
Yeah, I love it. All right. Well, what time is it? How are we doing on time right now? Oh, we're doing great. So as we get towards the end of this, so what do you shoot on?
I shoot on I am Team Nikon.
Team Nikon.
Team Nikon.
Still think you're awesome. How
I shoot on a Nikon Z6 II
do you like it?
mirrorless. I love it so far. I just recently got it, so it took me a little while to get used to it. I did shoot with a Nikon 780. That's my backup camera.
What do you think the big differences between mirrorless and non-mirror are?
Just the live exposure screen, the live view tracking, all of that. And I feel like for mine, it's a little sharper. I don't know if it's just like user error or if
No, I
it's,
definitely think having that sensor in there definitely helps out a lot.
yeah.
Yeah.
I really like it so far.
What was your first camera?
My first camera was a Nikon 5600. Oh yeah, cool pics.
The cool
Back
pics.
in 2006.
Circa 2006.
Sony or whatever, whoever.
I think it was Nikon. It was a Nikon Coolpix.
Yeah,
I think it
actually,
was.
I
So
have
you've been Nikon from day one.
since day one. I am born a Nikon girl. I mean, I'm gonna stay a Nikon girl.
I'm gonna die like this.
I'm gonna die. I'm staying on the hill.
I'm gonna die on this hill. Despite all that, I still think you're cool. Even though I am Team Sony.
Okay. What team are you?
Team Sony.
Okay, I've heard good things about Sony.
Yeah.
I had thought about Sony at one point.
Yeah, it's good. They're great.
But then I was like, no, it's new. Nikon's been around longer. I'm gonna go with Nikon.
I think Sony is kind of like the leader in the mirrorless realm.
Yeah.
But Nikon and Canon have definitely followed suit with some really good stuff. And they're good. I mean, they're all great. I will say that the coolest thing I think Sony is doing currently, they just came out with a camera, the A9 something. It's a new A9 brand, but it has a global shutter.
What is that?
So when you crank your shutter all the way, how high does it go? Do you know, 8,000 maybe?
I think so.
This is like 32,000.
Holy.
So like it goes.
Yeah.
And it doesn't have a mechanical shutter.
So is that good for videography?
I don't know. I probably won't. I don't know. Maybe not, because I mean my A7S3s are so good already. Doesn't matter to me. But when it comes to having to, every time you click the camera, it has the shutter has to come down.
Yeah.
That no longer happens. There's
Oh.
no shutter.
Huh.
So there's no mechanical piece coming down to take the photo. So it's all in the sensor doing it. That, from what I understand.
That's interesting.
So it's pretty cool.
That
So
is cool.
of course, what will happen? It'll be out, super expensive, whatever. But Nikon and Canon will follow
We'll
suit.
follow suit. Yep.
So that'll be cool.
Yep.
So you and your Nikon.
I know. Maybe
But
in
I
like
think-
5 years we'll.
Yeah, but for a photographer, I think that'll be fantastic.
I do too.
So basically, there's no, like, when you put it on continuous,
Mm-hmm.
you'll triple that shooting speed.
Nice.
That ought to do
I'll
it.
catch every second.
Pretty much, yeah. So that'll do it.
Every
Okay.
blink.
So let's go to the rapid fire round before we get out of here.
Okay.
So, what is your favorite go-to setup with a lens and camera?
Ooh, it used to be the 35, Nikon N35, but lately I've reverted back to my 50.
Nifty 50.
Yep, I haven't used it in a really long time, and just like this past like 2 months, I've been using it, and I'm like, okay, I like you again.
Yeah.
And an 85. I don't know.
Sure.
I'm just a prime girl.
That's okay.
I
There's nothing wrong with that.
love my primes.
Yeah, I love that. The good Nifty 50, I think, is a real good one. And the 85 portrait lens, very good.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, favorite venue to shoot at in Louisiana?
Oh gosh, I'm on the spot. I don't know.
Gotta be quick.
I've never shot there, but I want to shoot at the White Magnolia.
Okay.
Okay, and then I love the greenery
Yes.
and the berry barn.
Liza Farms, yeah.
So-
You gotta love the greenery as well. Yeah, Berry Barn's really nice too. Favorite time of day to shoot?
Golden hour.
Every time. I feel like every person who's come on and I say this now, I just know they're going to say the golden hour.
Yeah.
It's so funny. Any advice for editing you would give young?
Yeah, if you can get it right in camera, your editing is going to be so much easier. Like that's what I strive to get it right in camera, and then when it comes to editing, you just make your few little tweaks and
Fantastic.
good to go.
Love it. Well, Jordan, so how can people find you if they want to do senior photos, outdoor stuff, lifestyle, newborn, weddings? How can they find you? How can people reach
They
you?
can reach me on Facebook or Instagram at Jordan Ledet Photography, or my website is www.jordanledetphotography.
LEDET
Yes.
for Ledet? Yep.
Ledet. So, yep, you can reach me there.
Very good. Yeah, definitely follow her on Instagram. I'll make sure I put all your social media tags in this post. Thank you so much for joining us. Follow us on YouTube, like and subscribe. We'll be on Spotify, all the major platforms, and like I said, so
All right.
yeah. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me. This was fun. I
This
liked
was
it.
good. Now we get to go enjoy the rest of our day.
Yes, indeed.
Thank you.
Thank you.